So there is this really good article on the website, theievoice.com, and the article is titled Keeping It Real, Temecula, Confederacy of the Inland Empire, written by Stephanie Williams. And as I read that article, I was really intrigued by what it was mentioning and the issues that it was talking about in the city of Temecula. So, first of all, where is Temecula? Temecula, for those of you who know it, is really a very beautiful place. It's known for its wine tasting, its jazz festivals, the balloon rides, and it's a nice, peaceful area to bring the family and friends. It's actually a nice drive even to go to. So for those of you who want to find Temecula and enjoy the beauty of it, it's basically north of San Diego or south of Rancho Cucamonga. And if you want to get technical, I suppose you can say it's about an hour and a half east of Los Angeles. You can pretty much get there on the I-15. So it's a really beautiful place. But what makes the city of Temecula unique, aside from the fact that all those fun things that you can do, is the fact that there is a very strong conservative base. What's wrong with that? Well, on the surface, nothing. I mean, California, as we know, is the most liberal state in the country. However, Temecula, alongside other nearby cities like Murrieta, Fallbrook, Rainbow, Lake Elsinore, and pretty much surrounding areas are pretty conservative. It's considered a Republican safe haven. And from what I hear, there are plenty of Trump flags flying all over the place, Proud Boys, the place where you can be if you want to live a strong Christian lifestyle. Okay, so also in 2020, from what I'm reading here, while Trump pretty much got demolished in California, he won Temecula. Okay, good. So you have my blessing. We live in a democracy, right? You vote for who you want. You live the lifestyle you want. You worship as you want. Are you sure about that? Are we sure that in Temecula that is the case? Well, let's go on and discuss that article and talk about it in this podcast. Look, as far as religion is concerned, and I'm not a religious person, but to me, if you live your life as a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew or an atheist, okay, if it makes you into a better person, which encourage you to coexist peacefully with others, it's a wonderful thing. It's when you start shooting abortion clinic doctors or burning other buildings or violence against other people for their worshiping. That's when it starts getting to be, well, bad. So why is this discussion important? What does this have to do with education? Well, quick answer, everything. Let's move on. The problem with Temecula is that there is a group of like-minded people of a particular ideology trying to shove their beliefs into everyone else, especially our schools. There is a political action committee, otherwise known as a PAC, P-A-C, called the Inland Empire PAC. Okay, we'll call it IEPAC, the IEPAC. Okay, and there's also a church called the 412 Church. So what they're doing is they're targeting school boards across the Southwest as the new battleground to spread their ideology and way of life. And it starts in Temecula. They want to have laws created for right-wing extremism that seep into the very fabric of their society, including children's education. Okay, so since the Political Action Committee, the IEPAC, successfully put in council members and school board members, here's what they did. They canceled Black History Month. They no longer recognize Hispanic History Month or Hispanic Heritage Month. Women's History Month, gone. Asian Heritage Month, gone. And of course, you better believe it, Gay Pride Month, nope, not even going to be recognized. The city council also rejected any anti-abortion resolution which declares Temecula as a sanctuary city for the unborn. That's a right-wing kind of thing. The Temecula Valley USD, the school district, banned critical race theory. Okay, this is getting really pathetic. This whole banning of CRT is getting to be a joke. We'll discuss that in a little bit. During the pandemic, they strongly opposed any vaccination and mask mandates. Kind of dangerous. Now, here's some events that happened, or not events, but some unfortunate incidents. During a football game between Temecula versus Valley View High School, racial slurs were hurled at the Valley View cheer squad from Temecula high school students, which is, really sad. Caught on YouTube, was in the news. Then, of course, there was a demonstrations against the building of a mosque where residents protested, threatened some local Muslim people, and decided to walk their dogs along the grounds of where the mosque was going to be built. Now, what's wrong with that? Well, because dogs are considered unholy in the Muslim religion. Of course, I know many Muslim people who own dogs and love their pets, so, that's just old school thinking, but they did that to send a message that these Islamic people are unwelcomed in their town. Now, I don't live in Temecula, so what you do in your city is your concern. What I do in my city is my concern, okay? However, what is my concern is that when you have a political action committee aligning with extreme right-wing churches like the 412 Temecula Church, drawing battlegrounds on city councils and school boards in an attempt to control education of students, threatening teachers, threatening superintendents, even threatening parents if they don't follow the rules of their ideology. Rules that didn't exist before, but suddenly they just happened, that they made up. Otherwise, there'll be consequences. Their goal is to expand. They want to look for candidates who share their views and get elected into other school boards. Oh no, they're not just stopping in Temecula. That's just the beginning. They're trying to do it everywhere. And since I live in the Inland Empire, now for those of you who don't know what the Inland Empire is, it's a very vast area. It's huge. It's made out of San Bernardino County, parts of Riverside. I mean, it's kind of I'm not sure exactly how far it stretches into, but let's just say we're nowhere near the ocean for those of you who don't live in California. It's a very wonderful, nice, peaceful place, but it involves a lot of cities and millions and millions of people. So, it's the fact that they have the Inland Empire in the political action committee. Now, if they just focused on Temecula and they only concerned about Temecula, okay, that's something that they're going to have to deal with. But that's not what their intention is. Okay? And why are they doing this? Why do they feel, and especially when they align with churches. And I have always thought that churches were not allowed to align themselves with political action committees and not get involved with politics whatsoever. But boy, that has not been the case at all in lately. They want their hardline Christian beliefs because they have this thought that their beliefs promote a better way of life. That my way of life is better than yours. I have all the answers, and my answers are better than yours. Really? I mean, if you limit a student's education, I kind of wonder how educated you are exactly. I mean, education is supposed to be universal. It should never be limited, regardless of who gets their feelings hurt. They want to avoid one particular race from feeling guilty over the atrocities committed over other races. Hey, that's history. The Tulsa riots did happen. Slavery did happen. The killing of millions of natives did happen. These are facts. Screw your feelings. This is what happened. And we must acknowledge that it did happen. The three school board members in Temecula who are doing the damage are Board President Joseph Komrowski, another man by the name of Danny Gonzalez, and Jen Wiersma. Now, if you go to the Temecula Valley School District website and look at their bios, Mr. Komrowski is a very educated man. So the notion that if you are educated that you automatically become a liberal is thrown out the door with this guy. He's got a PhD in philosophy. He's an adjunct professor at Mount Sac Community College. He's an Army Airborne Ranger, a wounded veteran. Sounds great. Thank you for your service, Mr. Komrowski. Unfortunately, legacy can be tarnished by your very final acts. Ask Bill Cosby. I know nothing about Danny Gonzalez. His biography is empty. But I do see pictures of him, and I also see videos of him on YouTube. He's over there wearing the cowboy hat, looking like the badass sheriff. You know, during press interviews, he defends his position on banning books on CRT and so-called objectionable content. Then there's Miss Wiersma, and she is a cancer survivor, and I'm happy to hear about that. I'm glad that I'm also a cancer patient. Hopefully I'm a cancer survivor. I don't know, but Miss Wiersma, I'm glad that you're a cancer survivor. However, she says, believing in the goodness of faith, family, and freedom, she's honored to serve as an advocate for parental rights. Really? Exactly whose rights? Which parents? Does that statement pertain to gay parents, interracial parents, to Muslim parents, to Jewish parents, to liberal parents? I mean, what these three board members want to do is ban books that discuss CRT and reject a program called Social Studies Alive. Now, that's the issue here, is that Social Studies Alive. But I want to say this about CRT, and I'm just going to leave it alone, and we can discuss that in another podcast. CRT does not exist, okay? It doesn't exist in the classroom at any high school. I've been a teacher for nearly 10 years. I've never seen CRT in any syllabus, in any lesson planning. I've never heard of a teacher mentioning it. I personally have never mentioned it. If you took the time to bother to look and Google it, Google CRT, okay? I mean, I challenge you to discuss these lessons. Show me a syllabus. I looked it up. CRT in its true form, if you look under, if you Google CRT syllabus, you'll find that this course is offered in college graduate studies. Keyword, graduate. Not high school, not undergraduate, graduate. It is a law school class. It is a legal studies class. I'm getting tired of this. The content there is too difficult to discuss with high school students. They will never get to it. Anyways, we'll talk about that in another podcast because I just get annoyed with that. It's just the stupidity of it behind it. I mean, saying you're going to ban this, ban that, what are you banning? Just like this whole concept of woke, which that Governor DeSantis is mentioning in Florida, and he wants to make all of the United States Florida, okay? And again, that's another podcast, but we don't want to be Florida. Maybe Temecula does, but not the rest of us. Okay, so, we'll discuss it. But I do want to discuss the Social Studies Alive program. It's a curriculum. Keyword curriculum that involves several textbooks under the category of Social Studies Alive. And it's just not one book or one subject. It's a bunch of subjects, and it looks pretty good. Most importantly, that it's been approved as a curriculum by the teachers of the school district. Okay, and the previous board also approved of it. So they discussed geography of the U.S., American Indians and their land. I'm surprised that wasn't a big conniption with this board. American Indian. Of course, I wish they would stop calling it American Indians because they're not They're natives. That's what they're called. That's what they should be called. But anyways, early English settlers facing slavery, causes of the Civil War. So, okay, sounds all good. So I'm looking at that. They have 6 textbooks. Social Studies Alive, Me and My World. Social Studies Alive, My School and Family. Social Studies Alive, My Community. So these are all titles. Our Community and Beyond, regions of our country. And Social Studies Alive, America's Past. Okay, sounds good. Now, one of these books happened to mention a man by the name of Harvey Milk, the slain hero and leader of the gay rights movement. Milk was a member of the San Francisco City Council, I believe. He was assassinated in 1978. As far as I'm concerned, he was a martyr. I mean, he helped many human beings, but he was an openly gay man, and I wonder about that, with their decision to ban this whole curriculum. So these 3 board members, Komrosky, Gonzalez, and Wiersma, decided to ban the book. Ban all books and the entire curriculum on what they call moral grounds. Okay, so in other words, whipping slaves was not was okay, that's all they say, because Milk was gay and they felt it a mission to protect the kids from. So here's where the head scratching comes in. His name is not even mentioned in the student version of the textbooks. It's mentioned in the teacher's guide. Not the students don't even see the name Harvey Milk. The teachers do. Never mind the fact that Milk was a Korean War vet. Never mind that he fought discrimination against gay people when it came to housing and employment. Instead, board member Komrosky referred to Milk as a pedophile for having a relationship with a 16-year-old gay teenager named Jack McKinley, who was a suicidal runaway back then. Now, Milk was in his 30s, and McKinley was only 16. Okay, look, I find that troubling myself. I mean, in fact, I find that downright disgusting. But here's a little thing, okay? Pedophile is actually a legal term. And I'm not making any excuses, believe me, but I want to further explain. Okay, that's what educated people do. They further explain. It wasn't until 2017 when New York raised the consensual age from 14 to 18. Let me repeat, 2017, when you can have a consensual relationship with someone as young as 14. Okay, so in the 70s, Milk who was in his 30s, McKinley was 16. So, it was disgusting, but it wasn't illegal. And so, I wouldn't call him I don't know. It's hard to explain because I find that disturbing. I have to agree with Komrosky, but however, he never got arrested. He never got questioned. The history books, mentioned it, but they don't really, condemn it. Although, like I said, I mean, a 30-some-year-old going with a young teenager like this, it is kind of troubling. But the fact of the matter is that he began a movement to save lives. Okay, most gay people I know, they are law-abiding, good citizens. They served our country in the military. They are executives. They are teachers. They're everywhere. And I think that they have to understand that Harvey Milk is a very important historical figure in the gay community, and we need to appreciate that. And so, but I understand that there is some disgusting things that happened. Okay, anyways, that's not the question. The question is that I personally would accept the concerns about Harvey Milk. Okay? The school board member had concerns about this man, and I would accept the concerns. I would listen to their reasoning, and maybe I would not have mentioned it as a teacher myself if they're going to be that much concerns until we discuss it further. But why forcefully ban the entire curriculum? Why not tell them, look, we need to discuss this. You would get no argument from me. I mean, I can see why they're concerned, but ban all textbooks, ban an entire curriculum, especially if the teachers spent time and effort creating lesson plans around this, if they approved of these textbooks, if they approved of what is going to be taught. I mean, this is a slap in the face and a downplay of the importance of being a teacher. Do you do the same thing to doctors? Would you say that putting anesthesia is against my beliefs and therefore we can't do that? Excuse me? I mean, it's just unreal to me that these board members are so obviously under the control of the Inland Empire PAC, and if you look at their website, it says right on the homepage, the Inland Empire PAC website, it promotes anti-gay, anti-critical race theory, anti-woke, you just name it. You just look at it and you'll see where they stand. And by looking at what they stand, you'll see what these three board members stand. Okay? So fortunately now, there's a movement in Temecula to have all three boards recalled. And I'll tell you, that can't happen fast enough before they continue to do more damage. I mean, come on, board members. Did you bother asking the teachers? Did you bother asking the students? Did you bother asking the parents? You say you support parental rights, but you make these decisions without talking to anyone. But your constituents, your political action committee, your church. Hey? Don't allow your religious beliefs to take away the responsibilities and input from us teachers. That is just un-American, and it will backfire on you. You might be saying, well, what if it was a left-leaning run by a bunch of liberals and they created laws that cater to that ideology? Would you be upset? My immediate answer is, I don't know. Depends on the laws. Depends on the policies. I do approve, and I'm happy that Governor Newsom and his crew are watching Temecula. They're watching what they're doing. But don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things that I disagree with Newsom and what he's doing. I disagree with a lot of things, but overall, I'm okay with it. There's some things that I don't want him to do or don't agree with him, but, overall, I would say, do I approve of him? Yes. And I especially approve of him watching over you guys in Temecula. Okay. There are plenty of things in the liberal agenda that I disagree with, but it doesn't matter, if you are left wing or right wing. But if you become so extreme that you instill your beliefs over others without a democratic vote, without discussion, without getting opinions, even as a Google form where you take a poll, okay, I got an issue with that. When you ban books, when you're saying you are protecting students from indoctrination, or when you ban recognitions of minority groups because it promotes exclusion of other races. You're kidding, right? Why do you worry about the speck in someone else's eye when you don't see the plank in your own eye? Who is doing the indoctrinating? Who is doing the exclusions? Why are you being a bunch of Nazis or fascist? This act by Temecula USD is a complete violation of the FAIR Act. That's why California state government is watching them. It requires that California public schools provide fair, accurate, inclusive, and respectful representations of our diverse ethnic and cultural populations in the K-12 grade history and social studies curriculum. That's what it reads. That includes gays, blacks, Asians, women, all religions. I'm even told that the board members have a list of teachers that they want to fire. Wow. There's a lawsuit coming there. I know that they fired their popular superintendent, Dr. Jody McClay, for standing up against them. And, kudos to Dr. McClay for standing up to them, risking her job. What a pathetic board. So, okay. So maybe you can stop for now the schools and the teachers from discussing certain topics like oh, I don't know, gay, lesbian, transgender, Black Lives Matter. Maybe you can follow the stupid laws promoted by that dimwit governor from Florida that will ban, can't say the word gay in public schools. A note to the Inland Empire Political Action Committee: you're not going to win. Okay, you're not going to win. Okay? You're not going to stop kids from learning these topics down the road. Are you going to control what they read when they're in their 20s, 30s, maybe 40s? Are you going to control the content from social media? Good luck at that. I mean, what's next? Are you going to ban bookstores and private businesses from selling these books or hiring different types of individuals? Are you going to prevent newspapers from publishing stories like the same? Elected officials at city and school board levels are not elected to be moral, religious, political leaders. That is not your job. You are elected to do the business of the cities and the school districts. That's it. Don't speak for me. I wonder, are they really protecting kids from indoctrination, or are they about control? Like the old Canadian Catholic schools where mass graves of young children were found. They were sent there, or actually the children were forced to go there, to be called corrected in the Catholic faith, learning their ways. So in other words, if I'm not like you, look like you, worship like you, you happen to be a crappy person. I must help you. I must fix you. I must change you so you can live like me for my own comfort. That's the ideology that kind of reminds me what Temecula is doing. Yes, please recall them. Okay, go to the Facebook page, One Temecula. Okay, that's another political action committee created by teachers and citizens of Temecula. Okay, in a democratic fashion, that is fighting to recall these 3 board members. Get them out of office. Can't come soon enough. All right. That's me, Mr. Haig's class. I wish you all a good, well, and be happy. Be powerful. All right. Take care.